All right, this is a Young Old Heads podcast, episode 9. My name is Ben Thompson.
Jay Fair.
And your boy, Uncle Jerry.
All right, today we're going to go over the NBA playoffs to start with. Then we're going to go over, I know we got some hockey fans out there. So we're going to go over the Capitals-Penguins game tonight. After that, UFC 211. We're going to touch a little boxing, the Canelo Chavez fight. Quickly review the NFL draft, and then we'll finish with our closing thoughts on Serena Williams and the Golden State Warriors. So to begin, we got food and NBA playoffs.
All right, let's get started. The game on right now, Boston Celtics versus the Washington Wizards. My Celtics is getting after them. You know what I'm saying? I put $20 on the series. So they trying to win me my money. But
that's the guys. Is that gonna be my $20?
You need to talk to Shamari because you know how that went. We already discussed this. But no, like I was saying, let's get the guys' thoughts on the series. Who's going to win it in the end? Who's going to win tonight as well? So, Jerry, how about you?
This has been more like a street fight at times, honestly. It's been exciting. It's added some intrigue. I'm going with the Celtics tonight. I think they're going to get back on track. I'm not the biggest NBA fan in the world. Everybody knows that. But I do enjoy seeing the Celtics get it back together. I got to root for a guy like Isaiah Thomas and what he's been through this year, just in general. I think the Wizards have played great and they're right there, but I got to go with the Celtics tonight, and then I think they come to Washington and win it in 6.
Ooh. Ben?
All right, my heart wants to say Celtics because I think that'll be the easier matchup for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm a Brown fan. But, honestly, what is it, 2-2?
Mm-hmm.
Celtics took the first 2 games. Wizards took the last 2 games. I think the Wizards on a hot streak right now. They're playing like they really should have all series. They are a better team than the Celtics. Celtics have Isaiah. That's about it. And they should have been winning. But I honestly think Wizards are going to win the next 2 games, close out the series 4-2. And they're going to move on to the conference finals against the Cavaliers, which is a harder matchup against Cleveland for the Cavaliers, but I still think it's a pretty good team. So we'll see. But I do think Washington's going to take this series.
Oh, nice. Okay. I will break the tie. You know what I'm saying? I think the Celtics will win tonight. I think they have home court advantage is helping. The fans are helping out right now as well. I know Jerry said he has the Celtics taking in 6, but I'm going to go Celtics in 7. I feel like this is a great series just for NBA basketball to see 2 teams that hate each other, which I like to see, get after it and see who is the best team at the end of the day in the Game 7 in Boston. And I feel like the NBA fans deserve it, and I feel like we're going to get it, and the Celtics are going to end up on top.
This series actually looks like the late 80s, early 90s, like that pure hatred where the 2 teams really don't care for each other, and they know – the other team knows that the other team doesn't really care for each other, and they're just battling it out. I think it's great for basketball and the brand after, especially with what the top 2 teams are doing, and looking at probably seeing those 2 teams for a 3rd finals in a row. It's good to see some of those other young guns get in there and battle it out.
Agreed.
I think it's more being petty than actual hatred. Like, I don't really think they really hate each other. Just kind of petty playoff stuff. Like this thing with Kelly Oubre and Kelly Olynyk, it was more petty than anything because Olynyk flopped and Oubre just didn't want to get showed up by a white guy to end it, honestly. So I think it's more petty than actual hatred. I don't know, these teams, you can't even really find much hatred in history-wise between the 2, but I think it's just guys that know they're going to lose to Cleveland and might as well take it out on each other before they get to Cleveland.
Gotcha. Now moving on to the next series that's still going, Spurs and Rockets. The Spurs are up 3-2. And I'm going to get you guys' thoughts. Who's going to end up going to face the Golden State Warriors in the Western Conference Finals? Ben.
What really hurt me was the Rockets really should have won last night. That was Harden. He's a lot of people's MVP, but he really proved. He was nothing in overtime. I only turned to the game in overtime. I was like, this game's still on. Let me flip it on.
Mm-hmm.
Harden was terrible. Yeah. He was horrendous. Turnovers, missed shots. He got blocked by 39-year-old Ginobili in the game.
Is Ginobili? He hadn't hit the 40.
That's not like That's terrible. But I mean, the Rockets should have won last night. But that loss, I think, is going to linger with them, and I think the Spurs are going to take it. But Spurs have been worse than I really thought they were. I thought they could really compete with the Warriors this playoffs, and they can't. I mean, they just absolutely cannot, especially without Tony Parker. The Rockets don't have Nene, so both of those teams are pretty much sacrificial lambs at this point, so it doesn't matter who wins.
Do the Warriors sweep Ben?
I want to say one of the teams are good enough to win one game because, I mean, I don't think the Warriors are going to be on for 4 games straight against good competition. Those teams are good, don't get me wrong, but as far as pushing them to win the series, they're not good enough for that. Beforehand, I really thought they were, but I don't think they're going to push the series, but I do think they can squeeze out at least one game. I would hope so. I mean, for their sake, I hope they can get one game.
Okay. Yeah, I got the Spurs in 6.
Nice. Well, one thing I'll say about the Spurs, they have great coaching, not just as a head coach, the assistants as well. Because I feel like the way they defended James Harden, and he can't get any cheap free throws, is playing defense with your hands up. And it's worked. He's still getting 32, 10, and 10, but it's still working.
Yeah, I think it's great with what they can do, and I mean it's hard to go against Coach Pop.
All right, so let's get our conference finals previews. I think this will be quick and easy. So if we see the Cavaliers and Celtics, how many games is it going, and who is coming out on top? Ben, we know this answer.
Cavs, Celtics. I'm going to say the streak ends now for Cleveland. I don't think they can continue this ungodly streak they've carried since the last year's finals with the Warriors. I think Cleveland, especially if it gets the Celtics, Cleveland could sweep. I'm going to say if it is the Celtics, Cleveland will sweep. If it's the Wizards, Cleveland will win 4-2. But Celtics, they're going to sweep them because Isaiah isn't an issue for them. They'll stop him any means necessary. They have to. And the other guys are just, who cares about them? But yeah, if it's Celtics, it's a sweep for Cleveland. If it's the Wizards, it's 4-2. So it's gonna be game 6.
I got the East. I got the East going 6 either way. Whether Celtics or via the Wizards, I got the East going. Got it being 6 there. Either way.
Nice. I think for me, even in the East, I feel like it's. I feel like if it was the Wizards, it's Cavaliers in 5. But if it's the Celtics, I think it goes to 6 because I feel like the Celtics have the defenders to basically get after Cleveland. They can check Kyrie Irving and LeBron James. And I mean, they can slow them down. They're not going to stop them. But I feel like you got Crowder, you got Avery Bradley, Marcus Smart, tough guys that the Wizards don't have yet on the defensive end to slow down the Cavs and maybe steal a game or 2. So Cavaliers end up on top. It's just a tougher road with the Celtics.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the Western Conference real quick.
Do we have to?
Not really, but you know what I'm saying? Either way, you know, the Warriors are coming out on top.
Yeah. That's foregone.
If I had to bet my student loans on the Warriors winning the conference finals, I would.
I wish we all could.
Double or nothing.
Can we find out who we need to contact to get that official bet? Because I got some I bet on.
Vegas might be work somehow. You know, Sally Mae might be making a deal. I don't know. But yeah, honestly, if we're gonna talk about the Warriors as a team, there's no reason they shouldn't sweep either team given the players they have. I mean, they got 3 top 10, top 15 guys. And really, they got 3 top 10 guys, honestly, but and 2 top 5 guys. But there's no reason they shouldn't sweep, especially given the injuries Rockets have gotten and the Spurs have gotten, especially how old the Spurs are. I mean, really just going against Kawhi and like Grandpa Ginobili at the end of the day. And the Rockets, you got Eric Gordon. He's had a pretty good season, and Harden, he's good, but I mean,
Grandpa Ginobili blocked a shot last night. He blocked somebody's MVP. Somebody who voted for that man to be the MVP, he blocked their shot last night.
And that boy's juiced up because ain't no way you 39 and you're from Argentina.
Hey, they playing like that. Good basketball players now. They've turned out some good basketball players.
Hey, put it like that. Regardless, the Warriors should sweep both teams.
I think if it's the Spurs, which
maybe the Rockets will squeeze out one.
I think if it's the Spurs, they get 5. They make it to 5 just off of Coach Pop. I gotta respect Pop to win one game, just one. And this is one game by like 2 or 3 points, like up one possession game.
I like it. Well, all right, let's move on from the NBA.
All right, we got one more topic.
Yeah. Ben wants to talk about the Cavaliers. Go ahead, Ben.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Do y'all think the Cavaliers team this year is scarier than the team last year? Are they better overall? What y'all think, Jerry?
At first glance, no. I just think last year, even as dominant as they've been through these 8 games, last year, I just thought they were a tad more scarier to me, especially just in the regular season, how they finished the regular season. They didn't, and their playoffs is completely different. They played like the team we expected them to see in the playoffs, but and just going back to the regular season last year, just a little bit, but it is very minuscule.
About you, James?
I'm kind of conflicted. I would say on offense, yes, but I kind of look at the guard play on defense because on that championship team, you had Dellavedova, Amon Shepard played extremely well on defense, and J.R. Smith. Now this year you had Darren Williams and Kyle Korver, more offensive-minded guards, you know. And I feel like they're going to be a kind of liability on defense when it comes down to play like the Celtics or Wizards or the Warriors. So that's my only concern about the team, but offensively, easily, this team is better.
That's how I feel, too. I think it's a mixture between what James and Jerry said.
Yeah.
Last year, the Cavs were a better regular season team than they were now, but which kind of makes it easier to say, like, we saw what they were in the regular season this year. They weren't that great. They finished with a 2 seed, but it was like, I don't know about this Cavs team, but then in the playoffs, they turned up. I mean, they're undefeated, 8-0 right now, and just killing it. So I think it's a mix of those guys offensively, like James said, they're killing it. Defensively, they're not quite there yet, but I do think the additions are great. Duran and Korver, I mean, you can see the difference on the court. They're shooting like the Warriors right now, pretty much. I mean, they're stacking up pretty well, but defensively, I don't know how they stack against the Warriors because Kyrie can't cover a cold, and Bron can get KD, but I mean that's a give and go match. Each one's gonna score their points regardless, and no one's asking Korver to cover anyone. So it'll be interesting. Whatever team can keep the stroke hot is gonna end up winning that finals. But I do think this team is a little scary offensively. Defensively, it doesn't worry me too much because you can't really stop the Warriors regardless. Either they're gonna hit or they're not, and that has nothing to do with you. It's their shots off, it's a good day for you. The shots on, you better hope your shot's better. So that's how that kind of works out with the Warriors. So moving on, back to our DC fans. Jerry, carrying on the hockey.
Yeah, we're going to shift gears and talk a little bit about the NHL right now. We got the Caps and the Pens tied up right now 0-0 in the middle of the second period. Marc-Andre Fleury is playing lights out in the goalie, in goal again for the Pens. I think DC will actually shed a tear tonight if the Caps blow coming back from a 3-1 deficit. But I gotta pick the Pens to pull this out in Game 7, just especially with it still being 0-0 here in the second period. I think they with the history that they have, and a lot of times it's just hard to climb over that hill. The Caps are right there. They're trying, and they always run into the pinch. But what you think, James?
All right, now the Wizards are getting blown out right now. The Nets are down 5-1 to the Orioles. For the sake of Twitter comedy, I need the Penguins to pull this out. Because there's no better feeling to get on Twitter. It's see people bashing the Washington fans. We need that comedy. You know what I'm saying? It's been weeks. We need the comedy. They've been on their high horse for John Wall and his spectacular play. He's been getting it. But we need this for Twitter comedy, for Twitter memories. You can tell our kids about.
Yes. How about you, Ben?
I'll be honest. The only reason I know the Capitals are a team is because of Twitter. Past 3 years, the only reason I've heard them is because they've been terrible in the playoffs. Great regular season, from what I've heard from the Twitter. And the playoffs is when I come to collect my tears on Washington fans. Like, I don't watch the games. First time I'm really watching the Caps play. But from what I've heard is it should be terrible in the third period or something's going to happen. Mm-hmm. So I'm here for that. I mean, don't get me wrong. We're from Virginia. It's a lot of Redskins fans. But y'all are the reasons that I don't care for Caps, if we're going to be for real. So that being said, I mean, I hope the Caps lose. It's funny. It's comedy. So, you know, Caps, I hope they go up 5-0 this period. And I hope the Penguins storm back and win this jump 6-5 in the last 30 seconds because I'm here.
Ben, just so you can be a little bit more educated about hockey, if they go up 5-0, there is no way the Pens are coming back. But
hey, bro, I've heard some crazy stuff from this Caps team, bro. So I want the extreme situation where the Caps fans are pretty much pulling in Atlanta Falcons in the Super Bowl, who are up 28-3, and we ain't seen a comeback like that. I want to come back like this for the Penguins tonight.
But I will say, if all three Washington teams lose tonight, that sound that you will hear as you fade off into sleep will not be rain. It will be tears hitting the ground from the D.C., Washington, Virginia area fans. I love all of them, but if all three teams lose, don't be confused tonight. Don't. Just know that's what's going on.
I think by the end of the night, Wale will retire thanks to DC Sports. So Wale, you've had a good career, but hey,
thanks for putting out that album.
Yeah, album kind of flopped, bro. But you know what I'm saying, it's over for you. I'm sorry, Wale.
All right. So now we're going to shift gears and we're going to head off into the realm of boxing. We're going to cover a lot of action sports tonight in fighting, and we're going to start with boxing. And we're going to start with that debacle of a fight that we saw some of us saw Saturday night with Canelo Alvarez against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. I thought it was a murder, but I'll let James start, and then I'll give you my thoughts.
Oh, you said it right. It was a murder. Chavez Jr. was not ready for Canelo, man. I feel like Canelo at 26 years old, he's seasoned. I feel like after that Mayweather fight, he regrouped. He took his L, and he's been a bad man ever since. And that's why I feel like even with his upcoming fight, I'm still going with Canelo. Like, I'm a believer. Like, Canelo is the real deal. He came out and showed Chavez Jr., if you're not on my level, it's over for you from the start. And that's what we saw that night. It was over from the start.
Yeah, it was bad. It was quite bad over from the start. What about you, Ben? What were your thoughts?
I'll be honest, I was working Saturday, so I didn't see any of the fight. But I looked up on it, and to see a guy lost every round, 120 to 108, I don't think I missed out on anything. I think I made my money, and I didn't waste money on buying that fight. Because if I pay for a fight and the guy lost, it's different between a UFC fight and you losing every round. But if you losing every single boxing round, you shouldn't have been in there, bro. That's terrible. And I don't know. I mean, What you gotta say, Jerry?
And I'll update our hockey scores. The Pens just scored. They're up 1-0 with 11 minutes left in the second period. So they're up 1-0. It's still early, but they had a breakaway goal. Good assist here and flat out scored.
Yeah, that joint nasty. I'm watching it now. All right, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think the only fight I really watched from Canelo was the Mayweather fight, which he lost. But I mean, that's Mayweather. You're gonna lose that fight. But I don't know. If you're Chavez, it's disgusting to lose in this fashion. And it's just hard to find good boxing fights. I know they got another one coming up soon, but we'll talk on that after this. But but yeah, that was a slaughter.
Yeah, I'll be honest. As a boxing fan, sometimes the scores do not represent what happened. This was a massacre. This guy did not win a round. He did not win a round. It was horrible. He had no offensive game plan.
Oh my goodness.
It was terrible. It might have been the worst fight I've seen in a while. And I'm an old school boxing fan. I grew up watching boxing with my dad, watching Oscar De La Hoya and Felix Tito Trinidad. And I mean, back when the Klitschko brothers were young and they were dominating heavyweights, and Lennox Lewis, and seeing the end of Mike Tyson's career and seeing all of those fights. But this might have been the worst fight I've seen in my career watching boxing fights. Chavez could do nothing. I was hoping they would stop the fight for him, knowing that his heritage and his fighting background, they don't stop fights unless you get knocked out, but they should have stopped this fight. This was terrible. It was nothing to see. It kind of tainted boxing, but out of it, we are going to get a Triple G Canelo fight, which we are going to, I'll let James start on that as well. He was excited. I was excited. As a boxing fan, I think this is going to be a fight you want to see.
Yeah, I think this fight coming up is going to live up to the hype. September 16th, we're going to get two great showcases from two great boxers. Now, I love me some Triple G. I love watching them fight. But when it comes down to Canelo, I think he's seasoned and he's ready. I think the Floyd fight really helped them. And I'll say this in all respect to Mayweather. If there's one fight that Mayweather did not want to rematch with, is with Canelo. Because he showed some things in that fight, saying, hey, if I would have caught you on here, and my speed is unmatched. But I feel like with Triple G, I know he's undefeated, and Canelo only has that one loss. But I feel like Canelo comes out on top easily. I feel like it's going to be a tough fight. I think he wins the rounds like 7-5 or 8-4. And that's how I feel like it'll go. Triple G is going to give him a challenge, but nobody's stopping this man, Canelo.
What about you, Ben?
I mean, I think Canelo wins just based off age. I mean, he's 26. He'll be 27 by the time of the fight. But Golovkin, he's 35. I mean, I understand he's undefeated, 37-0, 33 KOs and whatnot. But at the end of the day, eventually age is going to catch up to you. And I think age really catches up to you in boxing more than a lot of fights. I mean, you take a lot of hits over your career, and it's just harder to react, especially when a guy is almost 10 years your junior. So, I mean, I think Canelo's going to win. I think he's going to kind of finesse. Don't get me wrong, GGG will show his prowess. I mean, he's undefeated for a reason, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's just kind of hard for me to think a 35-year-old guy is going to knock out a guy or beat a guy who's 8 years younger than him and also at the top of his game. So I think it's going to be Canelo. It hopefully will be a better fight than the Chavez fight, but at the end of the day, I think Canelo will probably just outclass him based on the age gap.
All right, I guess I'm going to be the only guy here that's going to be in the Triple G corner, but I'm fine with that. I think Canelo is really coming into his own, and I won't repeat everything that you said, James, but I think you hit the nail right on the head. And I think that Floyd fight really changed him, and it really polished him as a fighter. He was right there. I mean, Floyd is a once in a lifetime type guy. We won't see another boxer and Floyd's caliber in that generation of fighters. There's some younger guys that are going to be there, but this is a different generation with those younger guys. And I think Triple G is actually going to use that age to his advantage. If he can manage to not get knocked out, which I don't think will happen, but there's always that chance when you got Canelo and you got Triple G, who's gonna stand there and fight with him a little bit. But I think he pulls out a close fight in a decision. It'll probably be this is going to be a good fight. I'm like you, James. If we don't see a knockout, I think we're going to see a fight where boxing fans will truly be proud of and really bring some new light to the boxing universe. All right, James, you want to talk a little bit about the Andre Ward Sergey Kovalev fight, the rematch that we're going to see. When we saw that first fight, we knew we were going to get a rematch. I personally thought Kovalev got a little bit robbed, but I want to hear your thoughts on it, James.
100% understand how you feel like Kovalev got robbed. I mean, I reviewed the fight multiple times, basically on YouTube watching, like, okay, how did he win this round? But I feel like it took me a while. I saw what the judges saw. Okay. I feel like Andre Ward in the later rounds, he figured him out and basically said, I'm going to use my speed and my movement to beat this guy. Because if I keep getting caught with these punches, I might hit the deck again like he did in the second round. And this is why I feel in the rematch, Andre Ward ends up on top. Because throughout his whole career, no matter who he's fighting, different styles, he finds a way. And when it happens again, I feel like he knows not to get knocked down. He felt Kovalev's power. And I feel like Andre Ward comes out on top in another close fight. And I feel like the viewers will get their money's worth. And, I'm Team Ward regardless. Hopefully he doesn't retire after this. He gives us a few more. But we'll see how it goes. Yeah, but the only thing I think he's going to do is he's running out of people to fight. You just in that weight class. So that's true. And when you get older, it gets taxing to say, okay, I'm going to go up, I'm going to go down, I'm going to do this. So yeah, people want him to fight Triple G. I feel like Triple G doesn't want that, especially with Ward. I think his smart move is to go down and fight Canelo, which I think will be a better fight. So I feel like he might be done after this. Yeah, might be last great when we see from him. All right, so now we're gonna shift gears and we'll talk a little bit about UFC, that other fighting genre.
All right. Well, this Saturday we got UFC 211. Got 2 championship bouts, plethora of a lot of ranked fighters, good fighters fighting. So we can go through the championship bouts and a few of the notable fights, figure out who our fight predictions are, who's going to come out on top. So the first bout we got, the most important one, we got Stipe Miocic versus Junior Dos Santos for the heavyweight championship belt. Who do you guys think are going to win that matchup? James.
I'm going to surprise some people. I'm going to go with Dos Santos. I feel like he's going to get a KO in the second round. And that's going to be the end of that.
KO?
Mm-hmm. Hey, man, you got to make bold predictions. I feel it happening.
Yeah. I think Miocic, I know I just butchered his last name, but I think he comes out. Especially if they stay standing.
You think he's going to win? Is it going to be knockout or 5 rounds?
Heavyweights, I don't think somebody gets tired or somebody gets knocked out. And it's just, really, guys at 240 pounds shouldn't fight 5-minute rounds anyway. But so that's why somebody gets knocked out or somebody gets too tired and gets knocked out.
All right, what round are you giving Stipe?
I'm giving Stipe the third. I think it makes it at least to the third, and then we start seeing some stamina issues.
All right, I'm gonna go. I'm a Stipe fan. I really like the guy. He used to be a firefighter, and he's really been going on the whole Cleveland renaissance now with the Cavs winning last year. Stipe won the championship a couple months before the Cavs ended up winning the world championship. But for Stipe, I'm going for him. I honestly think it's going to be one of those heavyweight bouts that's going to end pretty quickly. I think Junior, he's taken a lot of losses the past couple years, and I think that chin's a little worn out. So I think Stipe is going to catch him, and I'm going to predict, bold prediction, Stipe knocks out Junior Dos Santos 2 minutes and 35 seconds into the first round.
Whoa. Okay. Yeah, that's bold.
I like that.
Okay. I like it.
So the next championship we got, bout we got Jesus Christ. This girl right here is a absolute monster.
Dog.
She's, I mean, everyone hyped up Ronda Rousey based on like Ronda thing was a lot of looks and just hype, but Joanna, excuse this last name. Yeah, actually, we're gonna call her Joanna.
Yeah, we can call her Joanna. Yeah,
Joanna.
My girl from Poland.
Yeah, we know what we're talking about. The Poland massacre is Joanna. She's going against Jessica Andrade, who has great hands. She has a lot of power. But who do you think is gonna win? The reigning champ or Andrade, Jerry?
I can't bet against Johanna. She's a Poland murderer, licensed licensed murderer. She I mean that in the best way possible. But she absolutely Andrade can fight. She can swing. She strikes well, but I just can't go against that girl from Poland. I just can't bet against her. And I think that it'll be over quick. I don't know if it makes it out the first round.
What about you, James?
Look, if me and the girl from Poland walking on the sidewalk, and I see her coming towards me,
I'm going to the other side of the street. Yeah,
I'm scared of her. So look, she's gonna win easily. She's gonna dominate this girl. It's gonna be over quick.
Easily. Ooh, okay.
Easily. I seen her fight the other girl from Poland. I forget what card it was on. And I felt like she dominated, and she backed up her smack talk. She's arrogant and she backs it up. I like fighters like that. If you can talk the talk and back it up, I support you. Just keep winning.
Yeah. I can't in good faith go against Joanna. I mean, I think Jessica's gonna be probably her best competition because those hands are like stone, like rocks.
Yeah, she can.
But I mean, Joanna can just hit you from every position, elbows, fists, and we're talking quick and powerful. I mean, she's a very polished fighter and she's tough. I mean, even on her season when she was coaching the Ultimate Fighter, I mean, she coached her players up on just always attacking from any position and always looking to get out of any position. So she knows that she got to keep moving. She's got to always attack, and that's her mindset. She's a killer at her technique. She's everything. I mean, she's everything you want a fighter to be. She might not have the knockout power you want, but if you want a person to piece someone up from 5 rounds, 5 minutes straight, Joanna's your girl, your fighter, whatever you want to call her, your champion. She's great, and I think she's going to prove it again on Saturday how good she really is. Okay. From there, we got 4 more fights. We'll go over them quickly. So we got Damian Maia, who's ranked 3rd overall, and we got Jorge Masvidal, who's ranked 5th. Who do you guys got in that fight?
Maia.
James.
Maia. That was easy.
Yeah, I agree with James.
You're going Masvidal?
No, I'm going Maia.
Oh, Damian Maia.
Damian.
Okay, yeah. Okay, we're all going Damian on this one. Yeah,
we all going Damian.
He's gonna choke him out pretty quick. His jiu-jitsu is first class, so he's gonna be a quick fight.
Yeah, that could be fast.
So moving on from that, we got Frankie Edgar, past former champion. He's 3rd ranked right now, 2nd ranked, and he's going against Yair Rodriguez, who's 7th ranked, but is a very skilled striker. Who you got in this one, Jerry?
I gotta go with the KG veteran and go with Frankie. I can't even remember his name. Rodriguez, yeah, he can strike like you said, Ben. But Frankie, KG veteran, and in UFC that pays off a lot.
I'm gonna go Frankie. I thought it's gonna be a tough fight, but he still wins by unanimous decision. I feel like he's gonna find a way to win at the end of the day.
I'm gonna go Rodriguez. I think Frankie, he's been kind of hanging around the past few years as that number 2 guy, number 3 guy who's kind of either going to get a championship fight or guy who's supposed to come up. But I think Yair, he's in a position where that's over. I mean, Frankie can't do this for too much longer, and it's getting kind of boring, kind of seeing Frankie in the same position for these years. So I think Yair's probably going to have a fantastic finish on Frankie, probably around the 2nd round, and really put his name amongst the best in that division. So I think Yair is going to knock him out 2nd round. So moving on, we got actually the next fight for update for those that don't know. Henry Cejudo has dropped out. He broke his hand and he dropped out today, so he won't be fighting Sergio Pettis.
I was
and they
looking
don't
forward to
replace.
that.
Yeah, it was gonna be a really good fight. I really want to see that, but it dropped out. They don't have a replacement for Pettis, I don't believe, this late. So for all we know right now, that fight's off the card. So moving on from Cejudo, we got Eddie Alvarez versus Dustin Poirier on our last fight. Alvarez is a guy who last fought McGregor and lost, and McGregor ended up winning that belt. And now he's number 3 ranked guy in that division. So, Jerry, what do you think, Alvarez versus Poirier?
I think he bounces back. I think Alvarez is hungry, and I think a lot of times a loss can do that to you. I know he lost to Connor, who, I mean, we can kind of expect that, but I think Alvarez is hungry, and he pulls this one out.
What about you, James?
I'm going Eddie as well. I feel like he has the heart of a champion. He's going to bounce back strong, and we'll see a great performance out of him.
I'll go Alvarez too. I think the Connor fight, Connor is very good at getting in your head and getting you out of your game.
Mm-hmm.
I think Alvarez was pretty embarrassed. I think he fought on his own home turf in New York and got bashed in. So I think he's really been waiting for this next fight to really show. The last fight was kind of a fluke, because everyone wants to say when they get knocked out by Connor, it's a fluke. So I think Alvarez is going to come back strong, and he knows this is a pivotal point in his career, because if he can't beat the number 9 ranked guy coming off a loss on the championship belt, it's going to put him in kind of a downward spiral. So I think Alvarez is going to bounce back pretty quick. So our last UFC topic is found out today, UFC 214 is going to be Jones versus Cormier 2. So we're just going to touch only on the title fight. We'll start with James. Who do you got, John Jones or Daniel Cormier?
Shit, I got John Jones. Look, I mean, Daniel Cormier, you know what I'm saying? He's a good dude, good fighter. But John Jones is taking this. He's already pissed off. He's going to come back with a vengeance and kick his ass, basically.
What about you, Jerry?
Yeah, I think I'm right along those lines, James. I think John Jones is going to be hungry. Daniel Cormier, and Daniel likes to run his mouth, so I expect that we're going to hear some stuff over the next few months, and I think that's just going to light the fire that John Jones is going to need, and hopefully he can right his ship, get himself together, get the help he needs, and hopefully he's back in the UFC and on main cards to stay.
That's how I feel too. I got Jones also. I think this time off is really going to help him. Cormier might not really know what to expect. He's going to maybe expect a little ring rust from Jones, but I think he's really been training hard. He showed in the past to really change up his body. He's a lot more chiseled, a lot more muscular now. And I really think he's got something new in the bag to use out. And I mean, he was always the most difficult guy to really face, because you didn't know what he was going to do, because he can do everything. He can wrestle, he can strike you, he can grapple, he can choke you out. And I think this time off probably really focused him a lot more, hopefully. So I really think Jones is going to have some Cormier, who, especially fights, I mean, he's the defending champion, but when he fought Silva, he's a lot bigger than Silva. He probably has 40 pounds on Anderson, and he just uses weight against him, which was a very boring fight. And I don't think he can do that against Jones. I think Jones is too skilled of a fighter. Cormier's last fight, he kind of went against softball with Anthony Johnson, who retired in this fight. He's a one-trick pony. If he doesn't knock you out, he's going to lose if he doesn't knock you out. So Cormier kind of knew that. He game planned for that. I don't think you can game plan for John Jones, especially when you haven't seen him fight in damn near a year and a half or a year, whatever it's been. So I think Jones is really going to outclass Cormier, and there's a lot of bad blood in that fight, and I think he might submit him or knock him out. So he's going to look for a flash to say, I'm back. So I can't go against Jones. He's going to knock him out and send that one. So moving on from UFC, we're going to do a quick NFL draft review. We'll give our 3 best team draft classes first. So we're going to start with Jerry. Jerry, who do you think the 3 best NFL teams that had the best draft classes are?
All right, I'm going to catch some heat for one of my picks, but I don't care. And that's just the way it is. For in no particular order, I have the Houston Texans getting a gift and getting Deshaun Watson still there and being able to trade up and get him the San Francisco 49ers for absolutely committing grand larceny against with that trade with the Bears and the picks that they could get, and still getting Reuben Foster at the end of the first round, which is absolutely crazy. I did not want that guy in the NFC, but he is going to be a Patrick Willis, Ray Lewis-esque middle linebacker. And I didn't mean Ray Lewis by saying like he's gonna go to the straight to Hall of Fame, things like that. If this guy stays healthy, he's gonna be a perennial all-pro type guy. And last but certainly not least, the Green Bay Packers in Titletown. I thought we had a great draft with what Ted Thompson could move back out of the first round. We still get that long, lanky corner in Kevin King running in the 4.4s. We get Josh Jones, who's out of NC State. I hope he improves his tackling a little bit, but he does run in the 4.4s at 6'1", 220, and he's going to play kind of that rover safety-esque position that we're going to be able to do with him, and a lot of flexibility there. And then the guy to watch is going to be Jamal Williams, the running back from BYU. He's BYU's all-time leading rusher, and I think when you put a running back in the system with Aaron Rodgers, and we got Martellus Bennett as well as Lance Kendricks, and you put them in that offense, and you got Jordy Nelson on the outside, and you got Devontae Adams on the other outside, and you put Randall Cobb in the slot and Martellus in the other slot. And if we can run the football, we could have the best offense in the NFL. But that's for another argument, another day. But those are my best three classes. And an honorable mention I got to give to the Tennessee Titans. I thought their draft class was good. A little bit of a reach there at 9 at 5 with Corey Davis. But if you like a guy and he's there, you go pick him, and that's the guy that they wanted. So, and the Bengals also get an honorable mention. I thought they handled themselves well over draft weekend as well.
All right, James.
Nice. Well, I'm going to start off like Jerry did, San Francisco 49ers. Oh, apology to John Lynch.
Yes. Thank you for reminding me, James. Yes, John Lynch, I owe you an apology as well.
Yeah, way to finesse the Chicago Bears. Ever getting more picks and trading down, and still get your guy in Solomon Thomas, who's going to be a stud. And in the first round, you get Reuben Foster, which is nuts to me. I still can't get that through my mind. But moving on, surprisingly, I'm going to say, I can't believe I'm saying this, the Cleveland Browns had a really, really good draft. And as I look at it, I mean, they did have 3 first-round picks. I like the tight end out of Miami. As going back and looking at his highlights, I feel like he can be a good weapon whenever they find the quarterback. I know that they drafted Deshaun Kaiser. He can be okay down the line. But Jabril Peppers, I mean, I really don't want him to play any offense. He needs to strictly stay on defense and learn and make his impact on defense.
Well, James, he's going to play offense, unfortunately. Sadly for you, he's going to play offense. Actually, I tweeted this during draft weekend. On offense, you already know where you're going to put Jabril Peppers. He's going to be a slot. He's going to be a guy. You're going to just get the ball in his hands. You already know that. Actually, I think you struggle figuring out where you're going to put him on the field on defense. I think on offense, you know where you're going to put him. On defense,
that's true.
Like, well, he can play here. He can play here. Can he do this? Can he do that? So, but they did get a steal.
Yeah, and for the last thing for the Cleveland Browns, you get Myles Garrett. Man, I feel like he's gonna have a breakout game against my Cincinnati Bengals because we are struggling on the offensive line. Jesus Christ!
Go kill them tackles, boy.
You ain't lying. Hey, go ahead, and get me a tear bucket. I mean, like, God damn. But nah, man, I feel like he's gonna take advantage of the offensive lines in the AFC North. I feel like the Steelers may have somebody to slow him down, but looking at Baltimore and Cincinnati, nah, this kid's gonna have a breakout year from the get-go. And my last team, I want to say my Cincinnati Bengals, but I really like our draft class. But I'm gonna go Carolina Panthers because I feel like they added 2 offensive pieces that I feel is gonna fit well with Cam Newton. You bring in Christian McCaffrey, who can be a change of pace back from Jonathan Stewart.
He gotta be the lead back, bro. You picked him number 10 overall, top 10. He gotta be the lead back.
I mean, he might be, but you never know with the Panthers. They like that ground and pound. They like that physical runner. So with them being stubborn, you never know. And then I think you add Curtis Samuel. I feel like he's a project kind of guy because he did play a little running back at Ohio State and he played in the slot. But I feel like if you get this guy right and you seen what Cam Newton did with the receivers he had, a lot of speedy guys, and he did run a 4.32 at the NFL Combine. I feel like you get him with Cam Newton, and that could be a problem for years to come.
All right. My top three, I got the Bengals. I thought they had the best draft of the whole NFL. I mean, you get John Ross with A.J. Green. That's crazy, first of all.
Thank you, Jesus.
Then moving on from there, you got Joe Mixon. I mean, the character issues aside, he was probably the top back in the draft, and you get him in the second round. That's great value.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on from there, you get pass rushers. You get Jordan Willis and Carl Lawson. Those are two. First of all, their first four picks are guys that I always thought that could be first rounders. So pretty much you got 4 first round picks. That's what they got. They got Carl Lawson, Jordan Willis, Joe Mixon, and John Ross. That's amazing, amazing talent. That's a steal, no matter how you slice it. So they got 2 guys who will compete at one end spot, and the rotational guys coming in and giving a great effort. So Bengals already went from that. So moving on from the Bengals, we got the Ravens, another team that just retooled completely on defense. You get Marlon Humphrey. It's a good corner to put opposite of Jimmy Smith. Let Ladarius Webb continue playing safety. So you got 2 good corners right now. And then you get Tim Williams and you get Tyrus Bowers. Tyrus Bowers, I really thought was kind of a second-round guy. I didn't really think he was going to be a first-round guy. Tim Williams is a guy who they got in the third round who I thought was a first-round talent. Rotating with each other off the edge opposite of Terrell Suggs. And when Suggs retires, you got another guy who can move in to the other side, regardless of who that is. So you got 2 great rushers, a cornerback. That defense set. I mean, Joe Flacco just have to learn how to throw passes again, and he'll be okay.
He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
And so was Trent Dilfer. And moving on. Moving on. The Texans.
Okay.
I think getting Deshaun Watson, I thought he was the best quarterback in the draft. I don't care what anyone else says. Deshaun beat up on the best defense we've seen in college football history, top 5 wise. A lot of talent on that team, and he whooped them both games. Regardless, he only went out one-on-one, whooped them both games. So they get a guy like that going on with a team that really doesn't need that much help. They got a great defense, solid O-line, and great receivers. So, I mean, he's put in the position to win. Anyone that thinks Tom Savage is going to win out and Deshaun has to learn for a year, you're a fool. Tom Savage had 0 touchdown passes last season. Relax.
Deshaun's not starting.
They traded up. Yeah, they traded up for Deshaun for a reason. If you think Tom Savage is going to win that job, I'm not going to say what I want to say. But anyway, all right, Texans, that's my third overall. 3 worst classes. Let's we're gonna get into that. Jerry, your 3 worst classes really quick.
The Chicago Bears. I already said I think they had grand larceny committed against them, and they moved up to number 2 to pick Mitchell Trubisky, who is not a number 2 pick. I was happy though because obviously we play the Bears twice a year, and there's no way I think Mitchell Trubisky is gonna outduel Aaron Rodgers for the next 6 to 8 years, 6, 7, 8 years. So I was happy about that. I think they have to be down there. The Rams, they didn't have a lot to do things with, but I still don't see where they got that much better at. And I got the Cardinals up here just because they didn't get a quarterback. And I think that was a position of high need for them. They got Hassan Reddick, who I absolutely love. They got Budda Baker, who I also love, but I had the Cardinals there just simply because I think they needed a quarterback, and some teams jumped in front of them to get one.
All right, James.
Well, I agree with Jerry on 2 of them. The Bears, I think the San Francisco 49ers were never going to pick Mitchell Trubisky with the 2nd pick. Never. And then you trade away more picks to get a guy they wasn't even going to touch.
And that was and James, that was the point I was coming from, is the 49ers were going to draft Solomon Thomas. I mean, right. that was hands down. The 49ers knew that they were going to get Solomon Thomas. So I got to think that John Lynch was sitting in his draft room and he gets a call from the Bears and he's like, oh, we can move back, get these 3rd-round picks, and we still gonna pick who we want to pick anyway. Like Solomon Thomas is gonna be there. They were not jumping us to get Solomon Thomas. I mean, so that's where I think the Bears just failed at, is that if you wanted Mitchell Trubisky that bad, he was there at 3. I don't see jumping the 49ers to do that.
And my other thing with the Bears, if I'm not mistaken, they picked a tight end with their 2nd-round pick, the D2 guy. I mean, he could be good, but I feel like in the 2nd round with that much defensive talent on the board and what you need right now, I feel like you can't take that reach. And I didn't like that one. And my other one was the Los Angeles Rams. I feel like they didn't have a lot to work with, but the guys they pick, I don't see how they fit Sean McCabe's new system, especially with Wade Phillips on defense as well. I'm ready to see how those guys fit. And this last one might shock a few people because I really didn't have a last one, but I'm gonna go with Seattle Seahawks because my main objective for the offense is protect Russell Wilson, and you didn't do this in the draft.
Okay,
you didn't do it in free agency, and you see what this dude has to battle through with injuries and running for his life every Sunday. And I feel like you want to protect your prized possession that you're giving all this money to, at least with some young talent, some guys you could coach up and not guys off the street that used to be former basketball players.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
they did.
I feel like
they did pick Justin Senior, who some people project him to be a swing tackle. I don't see how he's a tackle in the NFL. I think he could play guard, but I really don't see him being a tackle. He is out of Mississippi State. He played in the SEC. He played in big time college football, but they picked him to be a swing tackle, and they picked the guy who some people don't see as a tackle to be a swing tackle. So I just don't see where it fits.
Right, I feel you.
All right, man. I'm gonna go to Jets. I don't care who you draft, but I'm not a big safety guy. If you're going to draft a 1st-round safety, I'm already going to have problems with that, especially when they draft him at number 6 overall. Jamal Adams, great talent, but okay, you got Jamal Adams, great talent. Maybe he's Sean Taylor. Let's double back with that in the 2nd round, draft another safety. You can't sell that to me as a fan that we're going to get better drafting 2 safeties. We're not going to get better. That's not what the Jets needed. They drafted Christian Hackenberg last year in the 2nd round. They got rid of Brandon Marshall. They got rid of I think did they cut Eric Decker, I think? Or Eric Decker's probably going to get cut. Regardless.
Also, I got a news flash for the Jets. I read somewhere today where daggone it, Joe Naismith said he said that Christian Hackenberg should start.
Jesus. I mean, he should start. He's a 2nd-round pick, and you got nobody's on your roster. He should start. He really should. If he's the guy you decided was a good 2nd-round quarterback, he should start. I played against him in high school football. He shouldn't start. But if you did the research and you think he should start and you draft him in the 2nd round, it's your second year. You should be thinking about it, especially if you don't have a guy who can start. If you have a 2nd-round pick, you spend on a quarterback. I mean, if you got a guy there, then yeah. But your Jets, your 2nd-round pick from last year should be starting now. But Hackenberg is not a great quarterback. He could prove me wrong. He had 1 good year his freshman year. But like I said, played against him in high school, wasn't that great. Anyway, they drafted back-to-back safeties, 1st and 2nd round. I don't care what you're doing. You're trying to build a team. That's not how you do it, especially when you drafted Calvin Pryor, I think 2 years ago, in the 1st or 2nd round. What are you doing? That's 3 safeties drafted in the 1st and 2nd round in the past 3 years. Awful. I mean, I don't care what GM you are. That's terrible. That's not how you help a team. So, yeah, Jets are my worst draft class. I don't care what they did after that. It was terrible. Bears, like y'all said, that draft haul was
Grand Lawson.
Horrendous.
Can we get the FBI to investigate that thievery that happened?
I mean, maybe Mitchell Trubisky will be a good quarterback, but that's a lot of hope. I mean, if he's good, kudos to them. But for now, I'm calling it trash. Moving, and also Adam Shaheen in the 2nd round. No one was drafting that guy in the 2nd round. Don't get me wrong, I thought he was a good prospect. 2nd round, no sir. moving on from them, the Giants. They got Evan Ingram in the first round over David Njoku. I thought that was not the smartest thing. Evan Ingram's kind of slight weight, weighs about mid 230s, and he's a fast guy. But I mean, it's like drafting a big receiver. And I don't really think they need another big receiver. They drafted Sterling Shepard last year. It's a solid receiver. I don't think they really need another receiver. They need a true tight end. You let a guy like David Njoku slide. And then in the third round, they pick up a quarterback. So your first two out of your first three picks are guys that are like, could have did better. So yeah, that's my last worst draft class. So moving on, we got our closing thoughts. I'm gonna let Jerry take on Serena Williams, see what he has to say about her.
Oh yeah, I just gotta address all the attacks that I see on Serena Williams, and she just some of the things that, and I think I saw a tweet and I retweeted it the other day, and it just goes to show the problems that we still have with women's sports in general. That I think a lot of people know Serena Williams now, and it's a little better, and it's getting better, and people like her and people support her, and congratulations to her and her fiance. But I think Serena Williams would hands down people would recognize her as, if not the greatest, probably one of the one or two greatest sports athletes in history if she were a man. But she's not, but she's a lady, and I think that she gets, and she plays a sport that not a lot of people.
She's top two?
Yeah. Serena Williams is that dominant. If you look at the dominance of what she's done in her sport and what she's done in her sport, she's there for me.
You talking about athlete, or you talking about in their sport?
Athlete in general.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
And that's just me. And I'm glad you got that opinion, Ben. But Ben, I can respect your opinion more, because you just be like, well, I can't do it, and that's just me. But some people like literally attack her. They're like, oh, well, this sport is that. She played this sport. She's a women's athlete. That's the arguments that I hear, and those are the arguments that offend me, because you can't blame her that she plays women's tennis. She's a woman. That's an invalid argument to me, especially. And then you see all this stuff talking about, oh, well, she was pregnant. Like, how, did that aid her, or was her body making, specific hormones to make her better in her, and it's just completely baloney. So let's just look forward and give women's sports some credit as well. And also, I wanted to use my closing thoughts to say that my thoughts and prayers were with Chris Berman and his family, and what that news that we heard this morning as well. So just thinking about Chris and the Boomer a little bit more today. All right, James, I think you're going to be a little bit more attacking with your topic, and I might have some thoughts to just say a little bit about your topic as well.
I know you will.
So tell us about the Warriors and what you think.
This is my whole thing. If you were wearing the Golden State Warriors jersey on that team, do not talk about competition with anybody else in the NBA.
Okay.
Last season, the Golden State Warriors, 73-9, record-breaking season. You're killing it in the playoffs. You go LeBron. You go play LeBron. You up 3-1. 3-1. And you lose the series. In the next offseason, you go get a top 5 player in the NBA to join your core. I can see if you lose to somebody from the core, but you keep your core. You Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and Draymond Green. You add a top 5 player. And you have the nerve this playoff to say, even he said Cleveland playing great basketball. They're playing no competition. Are you serious? You added a top 5 player to join your core. Now, a real competitor, and it goes for the Warriors and KD. If I blow a 3-1 lead to you, I'm not joining you. I'm going to go back to my old squad. Even Al Horford said, if KD went back to OKC, I would have joined the Thunder. And that's making your team better. Maybe you still get Oladipo from the Magic. You trade Ibaka. That's helping. Oladipo's not in that second row. He could be in more of the fourth man like Draymond is, and he talks all this junk like he's actually doing something. You play with 3 all-stars that you should be grateful for. This is my whole thing. I know the league is a copycat league, and people always use the LeBron example, and people try to use the LeBron example, but LeBron copied the Boston Celtics. People forget that. Even if they were older, Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett, and Paul Pierce were still playing at high levels.
Mm-hmm. They won a championship
and leading
together.
that team. And they had young guys, just like the Miami Heat did. Miami Heat had Mario Chalmers. Their first year, they had Joel Anthony starting at the center. Joel Anthony. Some people don't know him, especially younger kids. That's how terrible he was.
Yeah.
So for the Warriors, and this is my rant about the Warriors. Don't act tough like KD. KD's acting tough this whole postseason, and I hate it because you make the coward move. This is the weakest move in NBA history to me, easily, because I would never join the enemy. If I blew a 3-1 lead to you and almost beat you, I want revenge. I want to see you around this time this year with my team for Russell Westbrook and with a potential Al Horford. I take my chances. I was up 3-1. Now you join the enemy, and you're talking junk, and they made this horrific, embarrassing move to the NBA because they're scared of that guy in Cleveland, number 23.
Okay.
Easily. And I feel like it's a copycat league. And I feel like more teams are gonna see this. Oh, we got a core 3. So like the Clippers. And the Clippers have the opportunity to add a top 5 guy to that team. I don't want to see that. I want to see guys like KD go back to OKC or form another big 3 like LeBron did to compete against the Boston big 3 to get out the East. And that's my rant. And I hate to see them talking junk like they're big and bad. Or they built. Y'all had to team up a group of superstars. You went 7-3-9 and added a top 5 player, and you have no room at all to act like you're big and bad and competitive. And that's my beef with the Golden State Warriors.
All right. I agree with you here.
Come on, Uncle Jerry.
I just got one question. And this is just I want someone. I want you to answer this question for me.
Will do.
And we'll see if KD goes back to OKC. Say he stays at OKC. Say they get Al Horford. Say they get Oladipo. Do they beat the Warriors? I mean, I don't. Do they beat the Warriors?
I feel like that's really tough because what the Warriors say, the Warriors signed back Harrison Barnes and Andrew Bogut. Now, there's some role players. You're not gonna have JaVale McGee,
right?
You maybe keep David West.
Yeah, they probably get West.
Maybe you have a whole different bench. But I feel like that Warriors team versus OKC with Al Horford, a guy who can stretch the floor, something that OKC doesn't have from their bigs. It's a whole different game, and it helps them because Golden State didn't have anybody to check Kevin Durant. And Russell Westbrook held his own against Steph and Clay, and that was the big thing. They held Draymond Green had to stay down the post, even when you went small to check Steven Adams, and that was hard for him. He was frustrated, kicking him in the groin and everything. And I feel like you add Al Horford, a guy you can put at the 5 to stretch Draymond out, you don't have a rim protector. And I feel like KD at 7 foot coming down with Russell, that's easy.
Okay.
I think OKC is 7.
All right.
I think honestly, I mean, yeah, KD should have stayed. I mean, the only reason Bron left, look, they had nothing in Cleveland. They had scraps. And Bron was like, I'm fed up. I'm fed up. Bron wasn't in a position to take a team like the Warriors. They're one of the best teams we've ever seen that season. Actually, the best regular season ever. Took them to 3-1 in the conference finals. Bron would never have a Cleveland team that could do that. Never. And if you take a team 3-1 that is that good, all you got to do is stay. It's not even on the other team. It's on you. That's on the other team. You don't even have to have another addition. It's good to have another one just to compete. But if you lose 3-1 on a team that won 73 games in the regular season, that's on you. That has nothing to do with an addition or whatever you want to say. That's on you. Let's get back to the drawing book, come back stronger in the summer, practice hard in the regular season, and beat them again because you had the blueprint. We got Cleveland down 3-1 to a team that won 73 games, and they can come back and win. If you're up 3-1 to a team that had 73 wins and you lose, my God, you can come back the next season and win. But he took the coward way out. I don't care. You don't even compare to Bron. Bron never did that. No one has ever done that. And you want to talk about super teams? Yeah. We can go back. First of all, you can go super teams back to the 80s if you want to, but I'll take it back to the 90s. Shaq joining the Lakers. That's a super team. Shaq and Kobe. That's a super team. And also, we want to go Kobe when Powell joined. And he had Lamar Odom, also super team. So this whole super team thing, it's part of the history of the sport. So it's nothing new. But what KD did was something different. I mean, that was something he could have corrected that. But he chose the easy way out. And the worst part about it is he was hurt half the season or 4th of the season. And this team kept rolling like we knew they would. Now he comes back in the playoffs and he's going to get this maybe cheap ring if he wins. But at the end of the day, I mean, he ain't earned it. Bron earned every last one of his 3 rings. He earned every one of those. KD, he wins his first ring. He didn't earn that. He was an afterthought on this team, regardless.
If I can add on, people respect moves. I respect the LeBron move. I didn't respect it at first, but I understood it. When he joined the Miami Heat, he wasn't competing against the Miami Heat. He was going to start something new. And I feel like if Kevin Durant just needed to change the scenery from OKC, there's plenty of options. It's one on TV right now. You telling me the Boston Celtics is not an intriguing destination when they have multiple,
or even the Wizards? He could have came back home with the Wizards.
That's true.
Look, Bron. Talk real quick.
Yeah,
Bron going back to Cleveland. Don't get me wrong. Cleveland. Look, let's get this right. Cleveland was garbage before LeBron came back.
Easily.
He comes back the first year. He makes his team a finals team. That shows LeBron's worth. KD has yet to really show his worth. He leaves OKC. They're still a playoff team. He goes to the Warriors, regardless without KD, they're still a finals team. So he's not showing his true worth.
Well, let's also get this straight too. We know that LeBron is a better player than KD. So LeBron is a better player than KD. So that is a little bit skewed. But I thought KD was actually going to go home. I thought he was going to go to Washington.
He should.
He could have been the guy in Washington. You have John Wall. They got Gortat playing in the paint. He's doing there. They got they would have had Otto Porter come off the bench. They would have had Bradley Beal playing another guy stretching the floor, and you got John Wall, who's arguably playing the best one. He's definitely top 5 as far as point guards in the NBA. So I get it. I get the whole gripe with it. And I'll go on record and say this. I think a lot of people were in the bunch that like you, James, you said you were, James, and like I was with the LeBron thing. Honestly, I didn't have a problem with LeBron leaving. And I think a lot of people were in the bunch where I was, but we didn't really have a problem with LeBron leaving. But LeBron, and granted, it's his market. When you say, hey, you can call ESPN and you can say, hey, I'm going to be in a gym here, and they're going to show up and it's an hour-long presentation. Who wouldn't? I mean, hey, you market you brand yourself. I get that now. But I think the way he did it was really one of the main catalysts as to why people had this whole stigma against LeBron.
And people knew not to do that from now on. Like LeBron, he even says that was wrong. Yeah, for going forward. I mean, he knew that was wrong. Yeah. But what KD did, regardless of the circus around the thing, it was wrong from the start. It don't matter if you had a media circus or anything. LeBron could have did this thing off the side. It would have been okay. He even admit the media circus he did was wrong, but KD's action is what was wrong.
Okay.
It's the main difference between what KD and LeBron did.
Yeah, and just quickly, I feel like with the Boston Celtics, even like you get KD, you don't have to trade for him or anything, a free agent. And then they had a top 5 pick this last draft, and they got Jaylen Brown, a good prospect, and now they're gonna have a top 3 pick because of the dumb deal the Brooklyn Nets made. And you get two guys that you're gonna get in the top 5 back-to-back drafts. You have Isaiah Thomas, and then you have role players like Avery Bradley and Crowder. I mean, who wouldn't want to go to that? Yeah, and compete against LeBron. Maybe you could
think about his legacy. If you go to the Celtics or the Wizards, what you're doing right now, LeBron has won at the end of this day. I think it's gonna be either 9 straight Eastern titles or 8 straight. You're going straight to Bron. Like, look, over. It's KD legacy right now. Bron is over. This is me. But for you to go to the West, where you're dragging Curry's hero tale, Draymond's tale, Thompson's tale, that's not your story. Like, no matter how old we get, when we tell the story of KD, if he wins a ring this year, we ain't talking about KD. We bashing KD. We talking about Curry. We talking about Clay. We talking about Draymond. And we gonna tell everyone KD was just there. LeBron was never just there. LeBron hopped in the NBA and he was the man. And KD right now, in his biggest moment, is just there.
And I'll play devil's advocate a little bit too, Ben, and we're not going to rehash the whole argument, but LeBron could not afford to be just there. And that's the difference. And that's the difference. And that's the difference. And I'm just bringing up what people bring up that defend him, is that LeBron could never just be, if LeBron was just there, they lost.
But as a great player, you shouldn't put yourself in a position to be just there. KD blatantly put himself in a position to be just there.
Maybe he put.
We've never seen a player of KD's caliber blatantly in his prime put himself in a position to be just there. That's soft. I would never do that as a great player. I would never do that as a who's ever done that?
It's hard to say what we would do, but I'm just saying. And like I said, I'm just being the devil's advocate here. Maybe he put winning above him. Maybe he put winning above him, and maybe he feels. And I'm just introducing this. Like I said, I'm not necessarily saying that this is my argument, but I'm just saying maybe KD sat down and looked at it and said, "Hey, I want to win a ring more than I want to be a superstar." And maybe he said that. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. We don't know. He's not our homeboy, so we can't, sit across the table and ask him. But I'm just saying, maybe he thought of that and said, maybe it's worth. And maybe, and at the end of June or the middle of June, we'll see what happens. And maybe he'll think it's worth it, because the first person that they're going to interview is he can go 0 for 500, and one of the people that they're going to go talk to is going to be him. So we'll just see. I was just introducing that, but we'll see. And also just to update you, the Pens scored again. It is now 2-0 for the Pittsburgh Penguins in the third.
Trying to retweet my tweet from a couple of days ago.
In the third period. So it is not shaping up a good night to be a DC sports fans. DC sports are going to DC sport. That's what I like to say.
All right, to close, hey, if you don't know, you should know by now, we all went to CNU Brotherhood, but this Saturday is seniors graduation class of 2017. We got a few brothers, Marlon, Drew Davison, Caleb Ki, Alan Hayes, the list goes on and on. But it takes a lot to really graduate in 4 years, and those who couldn't and who are graduating now in plus years, it doesn't matter. You graduated. So for everyone who touches the stage this Saturday, I want to say congratulations. It's a feat, and don't let anyone take that from you. You graduated college. I don't care how many years it took, but congratulations, guys, and thank you for joining the CNU alumni. And I'll see y'all Saturday, and just congrats, man. Good job, y'all.
Hey, the degree don't say how long you stayed in school, baby. It got your name and the name of the school, some fancy signatures that half of people can't read, but it don't say how long you was in school. So I want to echo that, Ben. Congrats to everybody in the class of 2017 on the bigger and better things. It's a feat for many of you. Many of you might be first-gen college students, anything like that. It's a feat. Congratulations to you all.
Congrats to all the CNU youth football alum.
Yeah.
Congrats. Enjoy this moment coming up on Saturday. Much love.
Well, guys, thank y'all for tuning in once again. Congrats to CNU 2017 class. This is Young Old Heads Podcast, episode 9. My name is Ben Thompson.
Jay Fair.
And your boy, Uncle Jerry.
Next time, and we'll be ready, Washington fans. I'm sorry about tonight.
Y'all about to get it on Twitter, baby.
Hey, make sure y'all don't block me tonight. But you know what I'm saying? I'm not telling you I told you so, but yeah.
Ben gonna have like 3 followers.
I told you so.
Ben gonna have like 3 followers at the end of the night.
All right, babe. Once again, thanks for tuning in, bro.
Thanks everybody to watch.
Couple weeks.
Watch, tune in, share, retweet.